What's going on, everybody? Sean Daniel with Guitar Control here, and we are going to learn 5 classic, awesome rockin' riffs that is going to help to improve your guitar chops. Now we're going to be kind of jumping around different genres because there's a lot that different genres can teach us about different riffs, but basically the 5 main riffs that we're going to learn parts of are going to sound like this. We're going to start off with Purple Haze. We're going to go to Paranoid Android. To Crazy Train. Into Schism by Tool. And then finally, we're going to go down to Drop D to learn some Led Zeppelin, Moby Dick. Okay, so we've got 5 different riffs, and again, these are just parts of the riffs. I would highly recommend learning the full song if there's one that really kind of gravitates towards your personal style. But we're just going to get started right here, and we are going to start with Purple Haze by Jimi Hendrix. Actually, the first riff I ever learned, and it's a really great example of sliding into a shape and going down one string at a time with different fingers, okay? So we're gonna get started right now by sliding into the 9th fret on the D string. So really, I'm kind of coming from the 7th fret into the 9th fret. So start with your ring finger, 7 to 9, all right? And it's kind of important that you use the right finger. You might feel more comfortable sliding with your pointer finger, but we need to go from 9D to 7G to 8B. And definitely click on the link below because we're gonna have tabs for all of these different riffs. So using those tabs is a great way to kind of follow along with all these. So you're really gonna want them until you get them memorized, and then you won't need them anymore. So we've got 9D, 7G, 8B. And if you notice, I'm going down one string for each of these 3 notes and using a different finger. So it's a really good way to kind of get all your fingers involved in the game. 9, 7G, and then we're gonna go back to 7D. The great thing about this beginning riff is we're going D, G, B, skipping back up to D. So it's a really great way to improve your guitar chops by being able to jump strings, whether it's with a pick or your fingers or whatever, okay? So this is the first part of the riff. And then into this. Okay, and we're really kind of getting the same slide, but now I'm going from like 3 to 5 on the D string, popping up a string to the A string, 5A, hitting the open E string, and then sliding from 5A to 7A, or if you want to hammer on, either way. 5D, 5A, E, 7A, and that kind of brings us right back to where we started. So it's a great way to start incorporating sliding, jumping strings, and involving an open string to kind of almost drone out into the next thing. So it's great for your timing, it's great for improving the accuracy of your slide. Another really quick thing about sliding is it doesn't always matter so much where you're sliding from, as long as you get it. Like I can slide from the 5th fret, I can slide from the or that was the 7th fret, from the 5th fret, from the 4th fret, 3rd fret, 2nd fret. Doesn't really matter as long as we end up going. A real quick tip on sliding is always focus where you're ending instead of tracking your finger. If I'm looking where I'm starting and I'm sliding, I might miss it. But if I'm really kind of zoned in right here, I'll hit that every time. All right, so Jimi Hendrix, great place to start. From there, we're going to something a little bit more modern, and that is the riff from Paranoid Android by Radiohead. And it sounds like this. And it's a good way to kind of start thinking about alternate picking. And what I mean by that is going down and up with your pick instead of down, 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 down. You can play it that way if you want, but it's a little bit tighter if you look at the direction of your pick. And I'm starting with my ring finger on the 5th fret of the low E string. So we're going down, down, up, down, up. Okay, so if I'm thinking of the alternate way of picking this, 1, 2, and 3, and. It's a really great way to start going alternating between strings. So I've got down, down, up, down on 3A, up on 5E, 4, 4, 4, 3A, 5A, okay? And right there. If you notice I'm going down, 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 up, down. So it's kind of a way to get used to maybe going down across the low E string and up on the A string. Okay, really kind of valuable stuff for like string skipping in an alternate pattern. A lot of these you can kind of palm mute a little bit too to kind of make them sound a little cleaner. All right, so just another couple techniques you can use in a pretty easy riff that is super signature, and it'll make you seem a little bit cooler, probably 50% cooler, because people will think you're a Radiohead fan, right? So after that, we're gonna go kind of focus on using some hammer-ons in a cool, quicker way by learning the Tool song, Schism. Again, this is in drop E, but for this part we don't really need to use the low E string dropped. We're just gonna keep it on the D and the G strings, okay? And again, it's gonna end up sounding like this. Something that sounds a lot harder to play than it actually is, which those are the kind of songs you should be learning anyways, try to impress people and think you're more advanced than you actually are. Again, you're also adding a ton of cool points by learning a Tool song, right? So what we're gonna do here, we're gonna start by hitting an open D string, and we're only gonna pick it once, but we're gonna hammer on with your pointer finger the 3rd fret of the D string, and then power 3 to get the 5th fret of the D string. So it's like a double hammer on type thing, okay? And then after that, you know, you might need a little bit of practice just to get that to sound pretty good. Again, start off super slow. Open 3, 5. Just keep doing it until you're confident that you're gonna hit exactly what you're thinking, and then you're gonna start getting better tone from those quicker hammer-ons. So after that first double hammer-on, we're gonna get the 3rd fret on the next string down, which is the G string. So hammer on 3, back to the D string, and then 2 on the G string, okay? Got it? This is actually kind of like an introduction to a concept called pedaling, where you keep coming back to like the same note to kind of get this open droney type sound. Okay, so we're gonna add a few more of those open D strings into this. So we've got that first hammer on 3, G, D, 2, G, D. We'll call that part 1 of this riff. We're gonna do the same thing in part 2, but we're gonna add the 5th fret of the G string to kind of finish it. So. Again, you can palm mute it a little bit more to kind of. Really awesome song. Definitely check that out if you've never heard of it. Another one, you can learn the whole song to kind of see where it kind of takes those same techniques and kind of moves them all around the neck. So again, these are just like little pieces of the riff, but definitely you're gonna wanna learn how to do all of them, okay? So now we're gonna go back to the classic rock genre and add some Ozzy, some Crazy Train. Okay, now this is a great example to improve your scale chops, because this is straight up the minor scale, if you know what that is, and we're gonna use every finger to kind of get a 1 finger per fret technique kind of ingrained in what we're doing. So if we start with the 2nd fret on the low E string, pointer finger, every single fret gets a new finger. 2, 3, 4, 5. Index, middle, ring, pinky. This is a really important concept for stretching. Okay, that might seem a little bit hard to do at first, depending on the size of your hands, depending on the type of guitar you're using, etc. But it's a really good way to start working into scale shapes. So if you know the minor scale starting on this F sharp note, the F sharp minor scale would be, we could, since we know it's 2, 3, 4, 5, right? Every finger gets ownership of one of those frets. We can call out this scale in fingers. So on the E string it would be index, ring, pinky. The A string would be index, ring, pinky. And the D string would be index, ring. Index, ring, pinky, index, ring, pinky, index, ring, okay? Now if we start numbering those, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we can learn this riff purely by using numbers, okay? So again, the riff again sounds like this. Now if I just called out numbers, you can remember it as a sequence of numbers. 1, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1. So again, if this is the first note, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is right here, the 4th fret on the A string. 1, 1, 5, 1. Now the 6th note in that is going to be the 5th fret of the A string. 6, 1, 5, 1. 1, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1. 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, open E. Okay? So again, the whole thing, if we break it into two parts, part 1 would be 1, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 5, 1. Part 2 would be 4, 3, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, open E. And that's just kind of talking about the notes as numbers in a scale. So it's a really good way to kind of start seeing how scales can be used musically just by taking these intervals, spaces between notes, and numbering them. Now, if you're really more dependent on the numbers of the frets and you don't want to confuse yourself with scale degrees, then too bad. But actually, we can also do the same way. So 2E, 4A, 2E, 5A, 2E, 4E, 2E. See, so much harder to say, that's why you need to learn the numbers. 2A, 5E, 4E, 5E, 2A, 5E, 4E, open E. All right, so now the 5th riff that we're gonna learn is something in a slightly different tuning, and it's called drop D. What that means is we take the low E string and we tune it down to match it to be a low D, right? A good way to do that, if you don't want to use your tuner, you can just hit the D string and then just kind of keep moving it until you get these two the same, all right? And we're gonna learn the awesome Zeppelin riff from the song Moby Dick, which a lot of people know as having the world's longest drum solo. But basically this is gonna sound like this. Okay, so it's a good way to kind of incorporate like a vibe and like a swing into what you're doing in a different tuning. And it starts off with the open E string, which really is now a D, but we're still gonna call it the E string. So open E, and it's gonna be 5A, 5A, 3A, 5E. And then 3E, right? So E, 5A, 5A, 3E, 5E, 3E. And then we're gonna kind of finish it off with just kind of these two notes on the E string with the open D note, the lowest D note, right? So. Just a cool riff to kind of get like the vibe of pure power just kind of going at you, as only Zeppelin, the most powerful blues rock band, could do. So those are 5, in my opinion, classic riffs that every guitar player should know that are really going to increase your chops because they all kind of utilize different techniques, different tunings, alternate pickings, slidings, hammer-ons, pull-offs, different timings. Really valuable to know, and definitely, like I said, make sure you try to, like, if you find one that you're really kind of like grooving and like gravitating towards, learn the whole song, because that's such an awesome way to really increase your chops and just mentally to increase just kind of like your ability to understand how parts move and stuff like that. But it definitely starts by learning some riffs because they're fun, they're easy to do, and you'll be amazed at how quickly you improve once you learn them. So if your mind has been blown by this expertly taught and communicated guitar lesson, you can check out some more videos by clicking any of these guys over here, and make sure to subscribe to the channel so you can be alerted to more content by subscribing by clicking that guy right there. Thanks a lot.